Not just because you're here, not just because you're with us, not just on the good days, not just when we're having a fun time together, but on the worst day, on the hardest day, you just as you are right now, you belong. And we see you. And we see you. When you first came in, you got a bright pink bag. Hold it up if you can. If it's too hard or it's on your back, don't worry about it. Yeah. You guys got a bright pink bag. You have a lot of really cool stuff in there. I think some of you currently also have burritos. So, I hope it doesn't open up. One of the things that you got in your journal is that you got in your bag is a guided journal, and I got to write that guided journal as part of this whole brave process. And that guided journal is a tool for you. Yeah, hold it up. There it goes. Yeah, that's really fun. We get to write that together, which is a fun thing. It's to help you do some dreaming, some self-discovery, and even probably some healing after we leave this place. So when I wrote that journal, it starts with me writing a letter to my 12-year-old self that I wrote as an adult to 12-year-old Lisa. Because 12-year-old Lisa was in and out of foster care. Because 12-year-old Lisa did really, really poorly in school. Because 12-year-old Lisa felt invisible and unloved. 12-year-old Lisa had a mom who was stuck in a life of drugs and alcohol. 12-year-old Lisa felt anxious, alone, and afraid literally all of the time. And 12-year-old Lisa thought that life was going to always be that way. But it didn't stay that way, right? My life was different because I had people in my life. Get out of here, girl. Go find somebody. They told me that I wasn't alone, which was a big deal because I always felt alone. They told me that I wasn't alone because really, even though my life was really hard and even though I felt abandoned, even though the one person who was supposed to love me and take care of me told me she thought I was literal trash and left me alone from when I was about 7 years old. Even though that sucked, and I'm not going to downplay and say it didn't suck, I'm not the only person who's experienced pain in their life, right? We all have our own stuff and we all have our own story, and my pain wasn't just mine. Because there's a lot of kids and there's a lot of teens who are just like me, who are hurting like me, but I think who are also hoping like me. I was told I wasn't alone because there are people, like the people who get to love you at home and the people that are here surrounded in this place, who want to journey through life with you, who want to be with you, who want to talk about when school sucks, or want to talk about the people you were crushing on. They want to do that with you. They want to walk through life with you on the best day and the hardest day. They want you to know that you're not alone in the struggle and in the trauma, because that's real. We are on your team, and we want to work through this with you. We want to walk through the fire with you. And I'm thankful for the someones that told me I wasn't alone, because the creator of the universe, the one who made the stars and the mountains and the snails and blue whales, thought the world needed one of me too. And he thought the world needs one of you too. Now, I don't want to come at you and disrespect your story, disrespect your struggle, and act like I know all of your business, because I don't. And I have my own stuff and I have my own story, but I don't know yours, and we might be similar, but we might not. And in my opinion, it's a little bit shady and disrespectful when someone comes at you and tries to act like they know exactly what you've been through. And they know your story, because they don't. Nobody knows your story but you. And I'm not going to disrespect your story by coming at you like I know. But even if we don't totally know, even if we haven't walked exactly in the same shoes, we can still go together anyway, right? We can still walk along each other anyway. Because we all have our own story. And we have great days, and we have things that are worth being celebrated together, things to be proud of. But we also all have wounds, yeah? We have things in our life that we feel like define us or set us apart from others in ways that we just don't like. You know, I think that sometimes we compare our own stuff to other people's stuff, and then we feel like we're lacking, yeah? And for most of us, I think that we learn to measure up against others. We learn to measure ourselves up against others before we even know the value of anything, right? When we're little girls, when we're 5 and 6 years old, and we see other little girls with more bracelets or more dolls, and we think that their lives are better than ours. But they're just bracelets and dolls. But when you're little, that's important, right? We see girls whose bodies are shaped differently than ours, and then our minds start to think, what's wrong with me? When there's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. We look at people that seem like they have it all together, and that we look at our lives and we see things that we don't have it together, places where we feel hurt by, things that we feel stuck by. And those things that have hurt or make us feel stuck become our identity, right? They become our name. But you are more than the possessions you have. You're more than what your body looks like, and you're far more than the hurt that has happened to you. Because, friends, you were created for great things. Do you believe that? I hope so, because you were created for great things. You were created to change the world. You were created to dream big dreams and do things for this world that no one else on this planet can do but you. We all have a story. But so often, because you only know yours, you think that yours is worse. You think that you are in a position of deficit. You think that you are worse off. Maybe we think that we'll never be anything than what we've been before. Maybe we feel like ours is crushing. And maybe we think that ours will always stay that way. But friends, I have good news. You are seen. Your story matters. Your hurts and your story is real and it's valid, but they don't have to be our forever. Yeah? What was doesn't always have to be what is. Because there's freedom from things that make us feel stuck or trapped or lost or alone or afraid or abandoned or forgotten or isolated. That doesn't have to be our forever. It might have been your past, and it might even be your right now, but it doesn't have to be your forever. It doesn't have to be your tomorrow. There's freedom from the things that make us feel stuck or trapped, or the thoughts of that the parts of your life that are hard will always be hard forever. Because every day is a new day. Yeah? Every day is a new day, and every day is a fresh start. If we've been victims in the past, then we don't have to wear the name badge of victim anymore. You can be free, and that freedom can start now. That freedom can start right now. You are brave. Do you know that? You are brave right now, even if you feel scared. Because being brave isn't the removal of fear, right? Being brave is doing the brave thing anyway. Brave is moving forward, doing the brave thing anyway, even if you feel afraid, because you still might. I get up and I get to talk in front of people a lot. Every time I do it, I feel like, this is going to be the end of me. And I'm real nervous, and I feel afraid. But feeling afraid doesn't mean you don't do the thing, right? Feeling afraid doesn't mean you don't do the brave thing. It just means you move forward anyway, right? You can still do the brave thing when you feel afraid. Sometimes what keeps us from doing the brave thing is our past. Something happened to you, and it hurt. Maybe it hurt your heart, maybe it hurt your feelings, maybe it hurt your mind, maybe it was hurt in your relationships, or maybe it hurt your body. But you don't have to be stuck in that hurt. Sometimes we're kept from feeling brave and doing the brave things because of situations in our families. And friends, I don't know if you know this, but your family doesn't actually define you, right? Your family doesn't define you. Your stories aren't your parents' stories. Your stories aren't your siblings' stories. For me, I felt stuck for a really long time because my mom was on drugs and I didn't come from a family where I felt cared about. If I wasn't homeless, if I wasn't in a shelter, if I wasn't in foster care, I felt like I was alone and like I didn't have people who loved me and who would take care of me. But I am not my mom, and her story is not my story. I am a mom, and my babies have a very different life. They've never seen their mom ever drunk, ever high. My mom's story isn't my story. We don't have to keep repeating the same things that we've seen just because it's normal at home. We don't have to do those things. Their story is our story. I think sometimes we keep from doing the brave thing and feeling brave because when we compare ourselves to others, we feel like we don't match up. But friends, there's good news in that because you weren't intended to match up. You weren't created to be like everybody else. There's things in this world for you to do that no one else can do but you. I spent so long trying to be like what I thought I was supposed to be. I felt trapped by trying to look like what I thought I was supposed to look like. I'm a pastor. I'm a pastor at this church. I've been a pastor for almost 12 years. I felt for a long time I have to look like a pastor. What does that even look like? Not like this. I don't know where y'all go to church, but I have a feeling this isn't the normal pastor attire. But when I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to be okay with me. Whatever that means. With my tattoos, with my stretched ears, with the side of my head shaved and my septum ring. Sometimes you just have to let your hair down and let your freak flag fly. And your freak flag might look very different than my freak flag. Very different. Right? Because we aren't created to be the same. We spend so much time trying to be like somebody else, and you're never gonna because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be just like the person next to you. You weren't made for that. You weren't created for that. You weren't made to, because if you were just like them, then we'd all only do the same stuff. And there's a lot of stuff to get done in this world. Right? We're different on purpose. If you feel weird or different, good. It gets better. Don't try to be like everybody else. You're not supposed to. You matter. You as you are, the truest version of yourself. You matter and you belong. You are needed. And you are good. We're going to hand out little pieces of paper. Volunteers, you can start that now. This little piece of paper, you're going to get it. You're going to write on this piece of paper something that is keeping you from feeling brave or something that is keeping you from doing the brave thing. Okay? If you have your own pen, you can use your own pen. We're going to pass ours to you. You're going to write on this piece of paper. If you were here before, we torn up the paper. This